Hello and welcome students to 10th class mathematics online lecture 1. My name is Ayushi and I'll be your teacher for this session. Congratulations for being promoted from 9th to 10th. Now that you all be prepping for your boards, it's my humble request to be a bit more serious about studies, and as they say, the mantra for success is the more you practice, the better you be. From here onwards in our video lectures, we'll be discussing about the basics of the chapter, and in our Zoom sessions, we'll be dealing with the NCERT exercises. So on this high note, let's begin with our chapter number 5, Arithmetic Progression. Okay, so AP is a type of number sequence. A number sequence is a list of numbers having a specific relation between the consecutive terms. For example, 1, 3, 5, 7. This is a number sequence. Here if you can see, in each term I am adding 2 so as to get the next term. 1 plus 2 gives us the next term 3. 3 plus 2 gives us the next term 5. Similarly, in the other sequence 2, 6, 18, 54 and so on, if I am multiplying each term with 3, I am getting my next term. 2 into 3 gives us 6, 6 into 3 gives us 18, 18 into 3 gives us 54 and so on. This is called a sequence, and a sequence is governed by a specific rule. A particular kind of number sequence where I'm either adding or subtracting a fixed number to each term so as to get my next term, then such a number sequence is known as an AP or an arithmetic progression. For example, 2, 4, 6, 8, so on, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 and so on. See, here what I'm doing in the first one, I'm adding 2 in each term so as to get my next term. 2 plus 2 gives us 4, 4 plus 2 gives us 6, 6 plus 2 gives us 8 and so on. In the second sequence, I am adding 5 in each term so as to get the next one. Like 5 plus 5 gives us 10, 10 plus 5 gives us 15, 15 plus 5 gives us 20, 20 plus 5 gives us 25 and so on. The first term or the first member of the sequence is known as the first term. It is denoted by small a, and the particular number that we are subtracting or adding in each term so as to get the next term is known as the common difference, and it is denoted by D. Have a look at another example. Here the sequence has the first term 2. If I'm adding 5 in this, I'll get the second term as 7. Again in 7, if I'll add 5, I'll get the third term as 12. Again in 12, if I'm adding 5, I'll get the fourth term as 17. So the first term of the sequence A is equal to 2 and the common difference D is equals to 5. 7 is the second term, 12 is the third term, 17 is the fourth term. If I continue doing this process, I may get the further members of this sequence. Another example, here we have the sequence 3, 7, 11, 15, 19 and so on. So the first term A is equal to 3 and the common difference D is equals to 4. Alright, if we are talking about the general form of writing the AP, this is the formula that you can see on the screen. AN is equals to A plus N minus 1 into D. If I keep the value of N as 1, I'll get the first term, that is 3. If I'm keeping the value of N as 2, I'll get the second term as 7. If I keep the value of N as 3 in this formula, I'll get my third term, which is 11. You can try for yourself. Here on this slide, you can see the general method, the general form of writing an AP. we write the AP as A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D and so on. So this gives us the nth number of term as A plus n minus 1 into D, where obviously A is the first term and D is the common difference. Okay, so how do we define common difference? The fixed term which is obtained by subtracting any term of an AP from its previous term, we get the common difference. That is, if we subtract first term from the second term, or if we subtract second term from the third term, we get the common difference D. And the general formula for the AP would be AN is equals to A plus n minus 1 into D. This is the formula that we'll be using in most of the questions. Have a look on the example given on this slide. Here A is equal to 2, D is equals to 2 and N is equals to 12, and we need to find the general formula AN. We know AN is equals to A plus n minus 1 into D. So in place of A I can write 2, in place of n I can write 12, and in place of D I can write 2. So this gives me 2 plus 12 minus 1 into 2, that is 2 plus 11 into 2, which is 2 plus 22. This gives us the nth term as 24. So this is how we'll be solving the questions. Another important kind of questions that we'll be dealing is, we'll be given a number sequence and we have to check whether it is in AP or not. So how do we do it? As I've already said, in an AP, the consecutive difference between the terms must be a constant. So what we have to do is that we have to subtract the terms with the previous terms. If the difference remains constant, then we can say the sequence is in AP, otherwise not. For example, here we have the sequence 2, 6, 10, 14 and so on. So the first term is A, which is equals to 2. The second term is 6, third term is 10 and fourth term is 14. Now, if I am subtracting first term from the second term, that is A2 minus A1, we have 6 minus 2 equals to 4. If I am subtracting the second term from the third term, we have 10 minus 6 equals to 4. If I am subtracting the third term from the fourth term, we have 14 minus 10 equals to 4. Now you can see in each case the common difference remains the same, that is D is equals to 4. Whenever the common difference is same, we can say that the terms are in AP. I hope this is very clear. Another important concept of this chapter is the sum of the terms of an AP. That is, we'll be given a number sequence which would be in AP and we would have to find the sum of its term. So how will we do it? You can see this on the slide. Suppose we have the AP as A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D, A plus 4D and so on, and we have been asked to find out the sum up till n number of terms. So what will we do? We can simply imply this formula. Sn is equals to n upon 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into D, or Sn is equals to n upon 2 into A plus L, where L denotes the last term or the nth term of the sequence. Here in this formula, we have to just put the values of N, A and D, and then we can find out the sum. So I hope you got a little hint of what we'll be dealing with. In the upcoming lectures, we'll discuss more examples based on these, so that the concepts would become crystal clear to you all. That's all for this lecture. We'll discuss further in the upcoming lectures. Thank you and have a nice day.